Hey YouTube land, Tycondrius again, welcoming you back to another action figure review. And today we're having a look at a Amazon, I believe it's Amazon, could be wrong, but it was an Amazon exclusive I believe. Batman Spinmasters 3 3/4 inch or 4 inch scale 2-pack. And this is another one of those Batman sets that come with a motorbike. There's been a few, so of the ones that I can get my hands on at the moment around the place, I will bring them up. I think there might be one or two that I'm missing from the recent bike sets, but I will bring up the ones that I have so we see them all together. But this is for a Batman versus Swamp Thing, which I always thought Swamp Thing was supposed to be a good guy, so, or he's kind of a grey area guy maybe. I'm not too sure. I always kind of pegged him as kind of being a semi-good guy. But this is the box he comes out. So you have the Batman logo, Batman versus Swamp Thing, Armory Attack Batcycle is the name of this vehicle. You have the Batman logo on the top. Flipping around the back of the box, you just have images of the characters in the set and some of the features that they do. So it shows you to kind of rotate the thing and clip in a piece that comes separate in the box. And then you just have more instructions of how to use this thing for Batman. So without further ado, we'll just move this aside and we'll bring in, we'll go with Swamp Thing first because he's pretty plain, and as opposed to like he has less amount of accessories. So he stands in just around the 4-inch mark. Just bring that in. He's a little, maybe a hair higher than, or a head higher than the standard 4-inch scale. But bringing one of the Deathstroke figures and just see, getting to stand a bit better. 2 seconds. Bringing a Deathstroke figure so you can see they do stand roughly around the same height, maybe a smidge taller for Swamp Thing. Not much. There's not much in the height difference between a basic 4-inch figure and Swamp Thing himself. For a change, Swamp Thing actually has a good deal of articulation. Now, one of the things in the past with the Spinmaster figures, when they came to kind of more monstrous creatures, say like Clayface, Man-Bat, King Shark even, they did this thing where the lower legs they still had the hinge for the front and forward, but they had no knee articulation. They opted out to give them knee articulation, which was a big kind of bone of contention because sometimes the feet weren't flat and they were leaning forward like that, so they just flop forward the whole time. This, you actually have knee articulation for a change, and you can actually get him to stand pretty nice and pretty proper, so it's quite nice. Other articulation points is he does have the kind of the swivel side to side in the head. He does have a hinge on the shoulder and can rotate around. He has a single hinge elbow with a rotation. Nothing on the wrist. He does come with one accessory, which is this swamp made axe thing. It's supposed to be like an axe made out of swamp vines and plant material, which is kind of cool. He does have kind of a couple of different tier coloring going on. His back is pretty plain. He doesn't have much paint apps on the back except for the back where the brown is, but he does have like this green, brighter green going on one arm and on the face, and he has the red eyes, his signature Swamp Thing eyes, and then he has like this fades to brown as mud as it comes closer to the bottom of his feet and the bottom of his right hand, which is kind of nice. So you do have a good lot of different kind of plant material going on, and he is pretty nice figure. He does have a peg hole on his back, so if you have stuff like this is one of the Batman accessories, so you can put those on if you want. You can even hold some of the Batman accessories, I think, because he has the same kind of hand. So, like, you know, if you want him to have a gun for some whatever reason, you can do that. But all in all, he's quite nice. So moving on to the Batman and his Batcycle, we'll do the Batman first, and then we'll go through this thing because it's actually quite interesting. So the Batman appears, I think, is a newer sculpt. He's not the same as one of the previous sculpts for the Bat-Tech line. I think it's one of the newer Bat-Tech designs. He does have these cool shoulder pads, which are part of the shoulder sculpt, so they don't really get in the way. He does have the standard Bat Cape, which is that kind of weird papery material. He has all the same articulation, hinge, knee, It has a thigh swivel. In fact, sorry, Swamp Thing has a thigh swivel as well. Does have the arm that can rotate around. Single jointed elbow, which is quite tight. And then he has a head swivel as well. So he has some articulation to get him to sit on the bike. But the main thing is the cool bike accessory that he comes with. So he does come with a very nice bike accessory. It does have a kind of interesting gimmick to it, which is a kind of rotating barrel piece. We'll get into that in a second. So basically, the pieces that are separate in the box are these and these. So you got this crossbow-like thing, which plugs in top. You got what looks like a laser gun or a missile. And then you get another sort of laser gun or missile, and they plug in here. So the idea is, you put one of these in these hands. You can actually clip the two of these together. They actually come connected like this in the box, but they're designed to clip up here. So the gimmick is, Batman slaps this in, brings that out, and he has weapons in ready to go, and then just kind of vice versa. You have to kind of hold the weapon, and it goes back into place. Now there is an additional gimmick with the bike. The bike, the way it is, it rotates and snaps into place. So depending on which weapon Batman wants, he's supposed to grab it from the top one. So he grabs that out, grabs that, and then rotates around to the next one. Gets the other one, grabs that. You can do this with the figure's hand, in the figure's hands. And then the way he's supposed to utilize these in his hands is they hold on to them like that. So yeah, you can have a crossbow or that, or if you want to swap it out for the other weapon. So it's kind of cool. We'll grab a measuring tape there for the bike and see how long it is. It is quite a big design bike. It is quite nice though. So overall, it is around 8.5 inches in length. It's not super tall. It's only about 3 inches tall, 3 and a bit. So it's not the tallest bike. It's more length than anything else. And it's not very wide. It's only probably about 2 inches. Yeah, it's only about 2 if you take from the guns, because they actually extend out. It's actually around just under 3 inches, which is interesting. Cool. So if I put all the bits and bobs back on it, so bear with me a second while I do this. Oop. They can be a bit tight once you have them clipped in, but these clip in here on the back for storage. So when he's not using them, it's actually nice that they are able to be stored, and you don't have this thing where you're just flopping around the place and being missing. I'll move Batman and something out of the way, because I do have a few bikes. This is the first bike that they did, and it did get a repaint. I have not picked up any of the repaints of it, but I think it got repainted once or twice, I believe. But this is the very first bike they did, and it's actually a really cool bike. Then we got this one, which came in a 2-pack with someone else. I think it could be the Freeze 2-pack. I could be wrong. In fact, these two are nearly similar in length. So there's that. When I first saw this bike originally, I thought this thing rotated, the whole front wheel part rotated, kind of like in the Dark Knight movies, but it's just this section here rotates, so you can have whichever weapon he wants to be firing from the bike on the top. Then I have another one of the bikes, or bike-like vehicles, which is this kind of quad type thing with the big tower. Actually, I think this is the one that came with the Mr. Freeze set, and I can't remember. I think this was the Bane set. One of these came with Bane, one of these came with Freeze. I'm not sure which one is which. And then for something that is in similar scale, but not made by Spinmasters, but it was similar fashion. This is the Mattel transforming bike, and it's one of the ones I actually quite like. I think they did 2 vehicles that did this kind of gimmicky transforming thing, and the bike was one of the better of them. But you have like a whole bunch of Bat bikes from Spinmaster and one from Mattel, and they look quite nice. I'm a big fan of their kind of small vehicles, because I know this isn't a bike, but I have this as well, which is that kind of bat wing kind of thing. They do some really nice small vehicle sets with kind of figures, and that's a really good selling point because you don't have to run out and buy figures. The only ones that didn't really come with the figures are the Batmobiles, but I think they only have two Batmobiles in this figure line, which one was okay, one wasn't too bad. I think I did reviews for both of them, so if I do grab the reviews for them, I'll put them up here. Right. I do have another one of the Batman figures handy. So I think this is one that came with one of the sets. So any of the Batman figures will fit on these pretty well, and they even fit on this Mattel one pretty decently as well. So all in all, it is a good set. It should be available from Amazon at the time of this recording, so if I can, I'll put a link to it in the description in the video below. If not, just have a look on Amazon.com for, what was it called again? The Armoury Attack Batcycle set, or Batman versus Swamp Thing set. You should get a hit on it, but they weren't too expensive as well. In fact, I think there was a couple of dollars off it at the moment, so at the time of this recording, so it might be a good chance to pick it up now on the cheap before they go out of stock, and then you have to pay through the nose later on to get them, because I have a feeling some of these bike sets, the older ones, have gone way up in price since those since the newer sets coming out. But all in all, a really good set, and I do recommend picking it up if you're a fan of the Spinmasters Batman line. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this quick video review of the Batcycle, or Bat Armoury Batcycle. Let me just see. Armoury Attack Batcycle set. And as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.